Hello. Welcome. We're going to play Storm Settlers. I'm going to play you the trailer while I finish getting ready. Rocky's here. Thanks for tuning in, Rocky. So, dev's in the chat, everyone. So if you want to give feedback to the dev as we're playing today, or just general props, things you like, Rocky's in the chat. You may recognize Rocky from our playtesting video. So if you want to learn how to playtest, put out a video a few months ago where instead of just kind of telling everyone how I think they should playtest, we gathered sort of perspectives from all around the community, and Rocky was one of the contributors on that video, and it was fantastic. And this game has just been through a big round of public playtesting, I do believe, and I've caught it sort of just after that. But I played this game a little while ago. I'm going to say a few months ago. It may actually be a year. I have no sense of time anymore. We live at the end of history. Who knows what's going on with time? I don't know. But I really enjoyed this game the first time I played it. It already felt very rich in terms of the systems and the content that were there. And I thought, I really want to get back to this and play it again. It's been long enough now that it feels like the game might be different in some ways. And I just love city builders. So we're playing Storm Settlers for, you know, an hour or two now. Probably about 90 minutes. I'm kind of swamped with admin I need to do, so probably 90 minutes, I would say, this session. And then back on Monday with the session of Folk Emerging, which you might have seen before as well, which is a like a prehistoric 4X. So similar kind of vibes, really. Of I don't know. I like kind of management and city building type games generally, and these two are both games that kind of stood out and I wanted to come back to and play again, so very pleased around that to be doing that. Yep, okay, we've got no zooming in and out. Okay, let's yeah, I'll make a new game. We'll start again. I'm just looking around me for random objects for my settlement name. Commodoria. I've got a Commodore briefcase, like an old one from a thrift store that my monitor is wedged on. And we're going to do the desert, because I feel like the desert is the core experience. So for anyone who didn't catch the trailer or who hasn't seen this before, there's a really neat mechanic in this that ties to the sand theme, which is every so often the sand is going to blow a storm across your settlement from a certain direction and bury some things and damage some things. And that's a really neat mechanic. I really like, you know, just having some sort of city builder with a particular environmental hazard. That's kind of how Frostpunk worked as well. You know, the relationship between what you were doing to survive and the type of environment you were in Frostpunk was very strong. Probably the first steampunk game I'd ever seen where steam was actually a game mechanic. And this is kind of doing a similar thing where it does a good job of justifying, you know, why it's in a desert and using that as part of the like context that you're being tested against when you build your town. Left click, select and confirm. Right click, cancel building work, multiple placements. Okay, so we can control click to place multiple of something. That's the one that I'm going to want to remember. The rest will be kind of self-explanatory, and change speed as well. Okay. For some reason, this aesthetic made me think that it was a kind of gamepad game when I remembered it, and I misremembered. So we're going to build a town centre. I don't know if there is any sort of sensitivity about where we place that. I think I can just put it wherever. I'm going to go away from the sand. Because I know enough about this to know that sand is bad. It's going to get pushed around. I've got roads. I've got destroying stuff. I've got some new villages. And I think these are the categories of things I can build. Yeah, it's funny when you say about the zooming in. My finger just immediately goes to the mouse wheel and just starts trying to do that. Assign a settler. Can I do that already? Yeah. So it's got very kind of intuitive RTS type controls where you can click on a settler and then right click on something that you want them to go and do. But most of the time they're going to be doing their own thing, I think. We can build a road. I don't have anything to build a road to yet. But we'll do one that goes over to the water. Maybe down here as well. And then just build the town around that kind of T shape. Build 3 roads and build a money building in range of another building and connect it with that. Okay. This is such a funny name for them. You've got to have a better name for this eventually, but I don't know what. A market? I don't know. Put it there and then just stretch that road out a little bit. So that one's not connected yet because the needs a bit of a road there. Oh, I think I accidentally unset that. Ah, I needed to click twice. Okay. Go and build that money building, guys. Turn the sound down slightly because it looks like it's peaking. Barabine. Ingrid Quadar. Omar Schultz. They've got a very fun mix of implied cultural backgrounds from their first and surnames. Oh, I think my first money building was not in range of other buildings. Okay, build a house, build a water collector in range of water. Let's do that first. That sounds kind of important. And some houses. So if I put a house along here, it's got a money building in each direction. And okay, I can't build another one of them yet. And I can't build a farm yet. Yeah, I guess if you want to keep it kind of reasonably general and vague, then I guess it would be houses and shops. Because you want something that it makes sense for there to be lots of, right? And if it was a tax collector, it's going to feel a bit strange and dystopian to have like 3 tax collecting houses around a house taking money from it. And if you make it a market, that's like a one-off feature of a settlement. Whereas if you make them be just representing shops or something, then it makes sense that you would have a bunch of them together. Ooh. Yeah, I think part of the thing with your theme and your art style is that these do look like individual buildings, you know? They look quite specific. So I feel like it should be a house, a shop, that kind of thing. But I don't know. An house? Tech lab. Mining camp. You're going to become a farmer? You got no water? Oh, no worker. Okay. Do you need to be assigned?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got some features that let us assign workers to buildings and also lock buildings so that they don't get assigned. They get... There's a neat thing here where there's like a generic kind of, I guess, veiled, hooded character design that is very generic. So it's almost like a meeple in a board game, like a worker placement board game. And then they get a very chunky, clear hat or tool to show you what job they have. That's great. Because it means that the only bit of personality they've really got is their name. That distinguishes them, and then the rest of who they are at that moment in time is like what they're doing, and there's just enough here for them to like feel cute and feel like something you're supposed to care about and look after. But it's very flexible, and that means when you change their jobs, it kind of still makes sense. I've been told to build another house. It says I've not got enough money. Just gonna have to wait for a bit. We get money quicker if I assign people to the money houses? Oh, that guy bugged because he's not moving. Wonder if I can I debug you and move this road? We got some more peoples. Another keyboard setting I would maybe have is like 1, 2, and 3 for the speed settings, because it's above WASD, and then there's just speeding around. You can quickly change between the speed settings and the I don't know. I think I've just been playing a lot of Ball X Pit, and I'm used to that. But I think that would be one of those extra key bindings where there would just be no harm in doing it, and it will be intuitive for some people. Tech labs make lots of money. Okay, I'll save and reload. Yep, no more stuck guy by the look of it. Caravan is passing by. That's okay. I mean, I'm just glad that we could get unstuck.
Okay. Yeah.
It's very interesting that you can't actually send them out. And it makes sense, right? Because it's an inhospitable environment, so it kind of makes sense that they wouldn't want you to just send them off wandering. And it kind of creates a quite elegant system where just building your town out is the only way you can kind of get access to this other stuff that's gradually being revealed. And I guess from a broader game design perspective, it makes the town harder to defend from the sand, right? When the storm comes in and pushes things around, if the fog of war is forcing you to to push your town borders out and to grow the town bigger, it makes it harder to defend, and that sort of naturally balances the game to some degree. Whereas if I were able to get one of these settlers and take them and send them out looking around, I wouldn't have as much incentive to like grow the town more quickly, and that would mean I could keep it as small and focused as possible, and the storms wouldn't necessarily be as bad. Hello, you want to give me 300 money for some of my water and food? Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna take your money. I'm gonna invest it. I'm gonna build some stuff. I'm gonna build some rock mining stuff. We're gonna do that there on the edge of the road. And if I do it, I really love these kind of the way that the adjacencies in this game work. It really gives you quite a lot to chew on without being overwhelming as well. So if I put that there, I want to make sure it gets as much stone as possible because that's its primary function. If I just delete this last bit of pathway and put it there, that's going to be the best place. So I put my mining camp there. Oh, it doesn't quite hit the... I'm going to maybe delete their house and put it there. Let's try it there. Just doesn't want to do both at the same time. Okay, we'll go with that one. And then we need some more houses. Yeah, I think limiting the exploration in some way is a good idea because it's you want to have that temptation to spread out too much, right? That's kind of what's going to drive the difficult decisions in this game. Because it's a very elegant game. Like the actual UX of what the player is doing, you know, you can build stuff, you can delete stuff, you can tell workers to do things, and that's it. And it's very, very elegant and simple, and I like that. I like it when a game has a lot of richness in terms of the decisions that I have to make and the kind of context around them, but I don't have to learn loads and loads of inputs and stuff like that. They wanted to settle. I don't think I had enough houses for those new people to settle, so I need to build more. But yeah, it's that one there. I think I need some more builders. You gonna build? Tax collectors, you can do some building for a bit.
Yeah.
Learning and tips. Do I have a public spreadsheet of all the games I've played on stream? Can you explain what that would be for in your mind? Because I'm not quite sure I understand what the...
Yeah. Okay.
Because I don't. I will say the answer is no. Because that would take work to upkeep. And when you think what people usually do when they're streaming is like they play a game for a month and they don't play anything else, and the admin involved in that is much lower than what I currently do on here, alongside all the other stuff that I do that isn't just running these streams. So something like that would take a bit of work. I couldn't just automatically do it based on the spreadsheet I use to schedule, because that would expose stuff that is not supposed to be shared, like keys and email addresses and stuff like that. So if you let me know what you would want that to do, or what you think that would be for, then I'll let you know if I think it's a good idea. If it's for people to just know when their game has been played, then I used to email people and let them know when their game was being scheduled, but to be honest, it just de-incentivizes people to pay attention to the channel, so it's not really in my interest to encourage people to only pay attention to the channel when it's in relation to their game. So there's that as well. Right, we've got lots of houses now. They've got no entertainment. They're going to get bored, but I don't think we can build any yet anyway. We need to put a scientist in here. And out of all the resources, we're doing okay for money. Let's just check the caravan out. The caravan is a neat feature as well, because if, like I just was, you're not really paying attention, because I was talking to you guys, you can just miss it. It doesn't like do a forced pop-up to say, hey, the caravan's here, what do you want to do? And I think that's good. I think the fact that this is a kind of, you know, a real-time strategy game, some of it is just paying attention to what's going on the screen. And because we have this very limited color palette where there's lots of the same stuff, yes, the caravan guy's purple, but there is a chance you will just miss it. And I think that's a good thing. I'm not saying that as a complaint. We're going to accept the caravan deal. We're going to welcome the settlers. We've got 2 new folks coming in. Thank you, Ancient One. Appreciate it. So you can see where the storm is. Is that telling me which way the storm will blow, or did we already have one? Magni, I'm just going to send you a link. So this, I did a post on this recently. And I think, rather than going through it all again, because it's actually quite complicated. And that's why I wrote a post. Give me a sec. Caravan is passing by. I don't know if that link will work in the chat, but I try and balance between, very, very broadly, I try and balance between games that I know I like and will be able to give enthusiastic but helpful feedback on. And then occasionally I try and pick things that are a little bit out there. I would say the only things that don't get picked at all are when the game that someone is working on seems incredibly low effort, and where a stream is not the place for that person to get their first playtesting feedback, you know? So if someone sends me a grey box prototype and it's like, hey, I just started making games 6 months ago and I've done some Unity courses, and here's the thing that happens when you finish one of those tutorials. It's a grey box FPS. People send me stuff like that. I don't play it because that's just your technical learning project and it's not really you doing game design. So don't play that kind of stuff. And also, your first playtests of your first games in your first year or so of making games should be with people around you. It shouldn't be like a public humiliation thing of someone online doing it in front of like 1,000 people. So these are all of the things I think about when I decide what to play. And the kind of system I use is kind of outlined in that thing I just sent over in the chat. and it is subjective. I try to make it fair. I try to give everyone a, like, you know, everything that's sent over gets looked at or read at a bare minimum.
Yeah.
And then I give it a very quick kind of score to work out if I'm going to come back to it again when I'm considering what to schedule for that month or that next few weeks or whatever. Yeah, but I mean, we haven't talked about Settlers yet, but when I was a kid, that was the first game of this type that I played, really. I love those games. Right, what are we running low on? We're starting to run out of food, so I'm going to build another farm a little bit further out, maybe? Or maybe a farm on this side, because we're not making use of this grass over here. Yeah, so responding to the do I have a list of games I've played before, it's really that it's not that I don't want to, it's just that making and maintaining that list would be another job. So if you think every time I put a stream on, I have to manually put all of the links to the games in the stream title, I have to make the thumbnail. On my end, I have a spreadsheet where I sort of record what dates things have been scheduled for. And there might be a way to take that data and make the spreadsheet that you're describing so people can go and look at it and like find all of the games. But you're the first person that has ever asked for that. So it would be time consuming to produce and maintain. And even if I did produce it and automate it, I don't know what people would use it for. That's why I was asking you. Well, I wasn't being like, what do you want that for? It was just like, you know, if I don't understand what the use case for something is, then I'm not going to spend my time like building and maintaining it. Because I'm already doing more stuff than I can do at the moment. Games Over Qualia I really like. But yeah, I mean, the way that he is doing things is very similar to how I did things when I started this channel. If you go back to my earliest videos, it's like 20 minutes on one game. And yeah, I really, really like his channel. He reached out a while back and said we should do some sort of collaboration, and I said to him at the time that I didn't want to, and it was mainly because he's very kind of tonally serious, and I think there's a little bit of an emphasis on it being like scientific in some way or evidence-based. I know that that was a phrase that he was using a lot of the time that I didn't like, and maybe that's changed now, but I do really like his channel. I watched a few of those breakdowns that he does, and I think they're really good. But I think when I started my channel, it was like, I want to do design consulting with indie game devs, so I'm going to make a channel as like a business funnel, right? And I still do that to a certain degree, right? There are people who watch this channel, people who watch this channel who have become mentees, and I work with them every month and I help them with their projects and stuff like that. But I don't do it very much now. I do like 5 of those slots because I've got my other games to work. I've got my own games to work on. I've got freelance projects, and then like video. The types of videos I do are quite high effort compared to what a lot of people in the space do. And so I very quickly pivoted from being like, I'm going to be a game design consultant using YouTube to sell my wares, to doing something else. Whereas I think what Games Over Qualia has done is much closer to like what I started out doing, and then he's stuck to it. And he's stayed as like a serious game design consultancy channel, and is much more kind of staying in that lane. Whereas I have too many different things that I like doing or want to do. And that's why, you know, if you look at the description of this channel, it says, this is a variety channel about indie games and how they're made. And that means that even though we do these streams where you guys are sending me stuff in, sometimes if there's a game that comes out, like I did this with Amber Spire recently, really wanted to play Amber Spire, hey, just gonna stream that because it looks really cool and I want to play it and talk about it. I didn't even look at what that deal was. Oh, they gave me some water. Yeah, I need water, to be fair, so that's okay. We've got another merchant that, but we can't afford their deal. That's not a good deal. 10 stone for all of that? Get out of here. We've got some settlers coming in, but we don't have enough houses. So I'm going to build some new ones. Build that. I'm been a little bit totaled by that. I don't know what we can do about the sand symbol. Oh, that says there. This building is buried in sand. Okay. Would I have to destroy the building to deal with that problem, or is there something I can do to undo it? Water stuff is... Water situation is not good. Let's go right up into that corner with the water this time. Something like that. Yeah, I need to get used to using the pause on this.
Yeah.
Get the old FTL reflex back in. I need to actually tell them to research something. Okay, farmers create grass. That seems like a good idea. So do they have an ability for that now? I've got to research it first. That doesn't have any rocks in range, so we're going to destroy that. And we're going to destroy the one that's covered in sand. They're going to carry on mining rocks. The fact you can only do one worker with each house, it's mildly stressful, but it makes sense. I mean, in terms of like balancing the game so that you can't just do whatever you want at any given moment. Uh-oh. 3 people starved to death already. It's because people were asking me about spreadsheets. Get some more money generation in here because everything's tied into that. Right, stonework, you can come away from that for now. I think, Rocky, in terms of my actual feedback so far, I think the main problem that I'm having is remembering what these buildings mean. Because I like the art style of them. But they're all the kind of classic house shape. And there's no real clues on there to let me know which one is which, you know? I guess the link, I can kind of tell which ones are the money buildings because the money merchants or tax collectors or whatever they are have green hats. And that kind of creates a link for me, but they're very, very similar to the houses. And then there's not like a clear visual link between these and the farmers either. Right, what have you got to sell me? And is it going to save my life? No. This guy's got some beer. What's going on there? Research a wall. That's a good idea. I think I probably do need some sort of walls to stop the sand destroying my life. Go see what's in there. The sound's coming from over there. Are we going to get the wall in time? It's nearly researched. Okay. Here we go. Time for a wall. So we're not going to have enough resources to do lots of this, I guess. How much? What does it cost? Oh, it uses money. Okay. Wall, wall, wall. Right, we want it from there. And we want it all the way down. And we don't have enough. So we're going to do it like that. And then we're going to do another one here. This says very low production. Oh, inefficient wall. I'm going to get rid of the wall. It's telling me that we've got... is it trying to hint that I shouldn't care about these buildings because they have inefficient production? Okay. I think that's the sort of thing we need to do. Maybe there needs to be one here. I guess that's going to be protected by the water, though. Let's just try that. I mean, whatever happens, it's going to be a better outcome than the last one, because that was really bad. We can now use water to grow grass, which means we can have more effective farms. Give them water to get money. I'm going to do that because I seem to have decent income of both of that at the moment. So, yeah. Yeah, someone just said the sand, and kind of said the sand moving animation is nice. One of the things that's nice here is that there's lots of movement, but it's all just... There's not really much movement that isn't gameplay relevant at any given moment. You need to see where your characters are and pay attention to if there's any not doing any one. That one is not doing any work, right? So I need to give them something to do. And then the sand starting to blow in is giving you that warning that the storm is coming. There's just lots of nice little things in this game. That can be demolished because it's not doing anything helpful. We need to build another water thing, but I'm going to wait until after the storm. I guess I can put it down as a can put the placeholder thing down. That's what we're going to do. Something like that. Settlers can walk through them. That's nice. Yeah, I think just making sure that the movement does... The movement is like... Movement is one of your biggest cheats for pushing something up the visual hierarchy. So just make sure if you do put little animations in and stuff and they're very inconsequential and they're supposed to just be background, that they don't draw attention. Because at the moment, all of the little bits of animation and movement that do exist are kind of helpful in some way for giving you information. Who's this? Explorers? Oh, we've got 4 that want to settle. Can we quickly build another house in time? Anyone that needs to be working that's not... Hey, farmer.
Yeah.
Farmers, you're on building duty right now. Welcome the settlers. Explores 35 tiles around a selected waypoint. Interesting. Ah, this is the explore function you talked about. Okay, so... which direction do we want to go in? Over here? Okay, these two... Is there stuff for you to do? We're really fighting for farming space here at the moment.
Yeah.
I think maybe having a visual overlay for when the farms are using the grass might be helpful as well. So you have a grass state and then you have a crop state. And it doesn't need to change any more than that. It's just like a little bit of extra information so you can quickly look and see, oh, there's all of that grass there and I haven't put a farm near it, that kind of thing. I don't think it has to tell you how efficiently the farms are working or anything like that, but just some indicator of when you've got grass that isn't being reached by a farm would be good, I think. Another house, I think. Waiting for these guys to finish
Okay.
the water buildings. Research the Explorer Hut. Oh, there are some crops. Is that just like better crops or something? Interesting. Starving? Uh-oh. Have you got more settlers for me? Because mine keep eating too much. I think that's what it is. They eat too much, and then later they're like, "Oh, we've got no food left." Well, whose fault is that?
Yeah.
I'm not eating it. Not me. The food struggle is real. I thought it was raining then. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're gonna get all my new stuff. They're not having a good time. They're protesting. They've got little signs. It's upsetting. Digger buildings allow its workers to dig away sand and turn it into dirt. I think we might need one of those now. Guys, I know you're upset, but I can't make things better if you don't work.
Okay. Yeah.
Gossiper shares information about the location of undiscovered gems. We're really struggling for food right now. I can't afford to build anything new. So I need to just redirect everyone who's not working on building something food related, I guess. I'm doing pretty badly, generally speaking. We built enough houses for 20 people and we've got like 10 people and we've had waves of starvation. Okay, so deleting stuff you don't need anymore gives you money back, so maybe I need to use that to my advantage. I've got three people. Don't have enough water. I don't think I'll be able to gather that much water in time to get those guys. Maybe I can. I don't know how long they hang out for. Haven't really paid attention to how long they stay when they're coming in. If I've put everyone on water, I might quickly get enough water to have them. Or they're leaving. I failed because my last 3 settlers were like, no, we've had enough of this guy. That's great. I mean, it was tough, but that's what I want from one of these. I'm going to try the snow one now. We'll give it like, I don't know, 40 more minutes. Like, we'll do one more game and try the snow version out. This is going to be called Burbill. Let's do it. Let's try some snow. I don't know how different it is. I mean, maybe it's just a reskin. And I'm totally fine if it is. Right, town center. This is snow. This is grass, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the grass here might be too close to the watercolor for the snow biome. When you put a road through grass, does it make it not usable as farmland anymore? I'm going to assume that that's the case, and I'm going to go round, but I might be... That might be pointless, but I can't tell. Let's build... Okay. Well, locking in now. Yeah, so if you're watching now and you like the look of the game, do go and wishlist it, because it is viewable on Steam. So that means you can go and wishlist it if you like what you see. I like how elegant it is. It's this type of game where it doesn't need to have a massive tech tree for all of the little interactions of the parts when you're building it to be something interesting that you could play for hours and hours. And that's very difficult to pull off. But yeah, the way that the sandstorm works just means that you're constantly having to reorganize everything. And you can't get it perfect as well, which I think is good. It's a good thing to have baked into a building game if it's got this sort of survival quality to it. Because you don't want to get too bogged down with making your place perfect, because you can't. I don't want that there, actually. Let's do... Indo. We're going to do another money building over here, I guess, because we haven't got one over there. Probably want to do a farm over this side as well. Oh no, we've already got a farm there, so I'll try and really spread the farms out this time, because they were sort of cannibalizing each other a little bit in my last game. I put too many of them close together and they were hurting each other. So the settlers just want there to be enough houses, and then they bring gifts. So you really do need to make sure you've always got enough houses, because they kind of top you up with all the other resources.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, do we have enough to build the mining camp? Yes, we do. Okay, mining camp all the way over here for now. Caravan time. I didn't even look at that deal, I just accepted it. That's not how to do deals. Another house on that row when we can afford it.
Yeah. Yeah.
New settlers, we get some water and some coins and 3 new workers, and we can get some money by exchanging some stuff like that. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. We do need to get our farms up. Our food income is the lowest one at the moment, so we need the research center, and we need to start doing some kind of food science, I guess. Whatever that means. What's that? That's going to be a money house. So let's put the tech lab here so that they both benefit from that.
Okay.
Gnagnar's here to party. We're having a cold party in the snow biome now because I already ruined my first town. Everyone left. Well, everyone died, and then the remaining 3 survivors left. The interesting thing about this is I find that I'm always looking up here to work out which thing has the most income, and then when I need a builder, I'm taking a worker from that trade and sending them over. Or that seems like it's the optimal way to play it, but I haven't quite developed that into a full habit yet, if that makes sense. Okay, we do want the new settlers. We don't need the extra water, and we will take the explorer, and we'll send the explorer out this way, I think. And yeah, then we need to build another house again. Because we're building one, we may as well build 2. We can't afford to right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can increase. I'm just going to look at the whole first tier of the tech tree now. So growing grass, we got that last time. The digger thing that lets you dig sand away. The wall. I mean, you're always going to need that, so I guess we'd just do that straight away. What are the other things? The water tower and the bank. So these increase your maximum, how much you can store, and the pantry does the same thing. The social hall increases their mood. Okay, I want to research that quite early because that was a problem last time. They were not happy. They were not happy with me. Moody, moody little storm settlers. Okay, so food is our lowest income rate at the moment. Make a new farm as soon as we get the opportunity. How to protect from the storm. Okay, it's coming from the bottom this time. So actually what I need to do right now is probably take my water workers and put them on oh no, I can't put them on money. Do I have any money houses that aren't being worked? That's what I need to look for. No, I don't anyway. Okay. I work at the money house. What I can do is take my water gatherers and send them to do the building. So we've got our defenses in place. I like this little daytime thing at the bottom. Oh, I love the music. It gives that kind of slight sci-fi, June-y kind of thing. Because one thing I noticed about this, it is kind of RTS controls on some level when it's like, it pause and play, you know? And it is a little bit hectic in some ways. You kind of always feel like you're missing out on something, so I think having very chilled music is quite helpful. You do need to think quite hard. Is it inefficient because it's not right next to something, or because there's no snow for it to blow? Okay. Because these aren't actually in danger because they're not next to the snow, I think. You want to settle here? I'm sure you do. Welcome. That's going to be a good place to build a farm. We research. I guess we need to be able to create grass, and then we'll get the morale boosting thing afterwards. Mining camp. That one's no use anymore. Because we mined all of the rocks. Who's this? Stranger, I'm bringing some news. I passed through a nearby town. They were in deep trouble and in deep sand. They've been hit by a sandstorm and they were not prepared at all. They didn't have any diggers, not a single wall to stop the storm. Okay, it's just a little tutorial character. Bringing ill portents. Can I can't really do a helpful wall here. We're going to need another stone quarry thingy. Probably over here. Let's do that. Now, hopefully the stone blocks the storm. I would think it would, which then creates an interesting dynamic, because you want to get rid of the stone to mine for the gems, but you don't want to get it out of the way if it's helping you. Okay. You want to join us? Oh, this now they're saying if you want us to live here, you've got to give us some money. How does that work? I mean, I need the food, so you can come, but... These people are bringing beer in. Does that put my character's morale up or something? I will do this one who wants to exchange money for beer, but I'm not giving away my food and water because I'm not doing well enough. Let's slow this down for a minute. Yeah, the upkeep of trying to keep the storm away from your farms and stuff is really interesting. I love that you kind of gradually open up more tools to deal with it, to either stop it happening or to get rid of it after the fact. It's neat. But the water resource, you need quite a lot of it for doing all of these sort of terraforming type activities. And you've just got a really tight little knot of resources and things that you need to spend them on. And it's not excessive. There's not like loads of variety. But the way that they're all intertwined really forces you to have to keep adapting. And then the fact that you kind of have to spread out to get more resources, but then that makes it harder to keep everything working properly. It's very, very good. Okay, let's put you... So I feel like I might be paying too much attention to these minus things and trying to spread things out more. Because the first time I didn't do that, so maybe I'm overcorrecting. But that's kind of what often happens as you learn a game. It's like you learn that you did something wrong, so you do the opposite, and you go too far, and you're kind of gradually finding this middle ground that's the correct strategy. A weak stranger. They're coming to tell me about the storm. I don't think they should. Yeah, I don't know if it's because it's red. It's a very small thing, but I would suggest just flipping the colors. Make the background of the panel black and make the text red. Because when these are red, when these are red and green, it kind of tells you it's going up and down. But when that whole panel is red, it kind of looks like it's basically telling you not to do it at all. I need a water tower soon. Oh, this is... oh. So the moment the way you've got this set up is like there's a sand mode and a snow mode, but they're both kind of... What's that? But they're both kind of effectively the same thing, right? What you could do is you could have like more difficult modes of the game where the sand swaps out for different things, but then maybe would need to be some other modifier. So it's almost like doing an ascension run in Slay the Spire. So the snow is basically all of the same behavior as the sand, but it does this other thing where maybe the snow gradually like destroys water or something like that. And you could have like 4 or 5 of those. You could have one that's kind of acid slime or something, and they all have a couple of different modifiers on. And then people that have played the main game and just beaten it as the normal kind of desert mode could sort of have a hardcore mode where they pick different sets of modifiers or something like that. Because that way you don't have to change the loadout of what the player has and what they can develop, but you can change the setting that they're building in and make the game more difficult through that. That's going to be in sand. Can we dig it out like that? Yeah. Yeah, I think having the scenarios to complete in an order makes sense. Because a game of this is quite long if you're doing okay, right? You just need to make it very clear that that stuff's there to unlock so people feel like they're getting value out of it. Oh, that was supposed to be a road, not a wall. Oh, I'll leave it there anyway. The food is like going all the way up to 150 and back down again, and all the way up and back down again, very, very quickly. Oh yeah, we do need more houses, thank you. Not anymore. So cruel. It is a cruel world. How to build multiple buildings. You detected that I was doing something without using the keyboard shortcuts and then tutorialized it. That's a good idea. That's a good thing to do. Magni, you've been watching for half an hour and you still have no idea what this game is about. Well, I'm surviving. I'm building a town and trying to survive and not have all my people die. I'm not sure. I think that's the kind of feedback where it just seems like maybe this isn't a game for you. I think I'd had similar people say, had people say similar things when I was playing RimWorld a while back. They were like, I don't see the point in this, and it's like, well, you just don't have whatever type of play desire it is that is required to be interested in that game, and that's fine. It's but in terms of not understanding what I'm doing, I mean, there aren't that many things I'm doing. I'm setting things to build, and then I'm setting people to have particular jobs. That's it. But there's a lot to think about. But if you don't feel compelled to do any of that, then you're not going to get much out of it. But that's kind of a very generic thing you could say about any video game, really. All right, I need to research the making them happy thing next, which is the social hall. Right, stop tax collecting. Go and build some more farms, please. Or that's the one we need to finish building. Build that. I mean, they were kind of just protesting on the edge of town. No one was there to hear them.
Okay.
So hard to So hard to feed everyone. Yeah, I keep worrying about whether the grass tiles still make as much food if I put a road over them. Right, we do not need more tax collectors. Go and do something useful. Go and do something useful with your time.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. Go finish building that quarry. They're unhappy again. Margaret's out there. Just doing some Margaret stuff. I like that the explore mechanic isn't automatic. You have to trigger it each time and you have to spend something. They're not just out there like automatically finding new stuff without your input. Right, we need to start building some storage for things. I think that food seems to be the hardest thing to keep topped up. So we should probably build the pantry first. Even though it's very rare that I have a surplus of food, but every time it goes into surplus, I'm wasting that bit that's been produced, and that's the thing that we're having the most problem with. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to build another... No, I'm not. I'm sort of tempted to have 2 research labs, but... Welcome these guys. Get our food topped up. That was a bit of luck. The merchant that time was wanting to sell us food. Wesley Tuber. My name's Wesley Tuber.
Yeah.
Right, it's coming from that side this time. Oh, so many deaths in one go. So what happened was when I was trying to build the walls, just in case anyone kind of can't work out what's happening visually, I was trying to build a bunch of walls to prepare for the storm. And I needed to send people to build the walls, and when I chose who to do that, I was not thinking about who it was, so I was taking people off of farming when I should have been taking them off of other jobs. So, yes, 6 people died. Yes, it was my fault. I take responsibility for that. I'm not proud of it. Is it going to happen again? Probably. Will I learn anything? Don't know.
Yeah.
I'm building a pantry. I must have learned something. Okay. What else do we need to research? Reduces the cost of turning dirt into grass. That's very good. Right, I haven't been building my own grass this time because it does take quite a lot of water, but... Right, next research after this is going to be the water tower. Once we've got the water tower, we can grow our own grass. Have enough of that resource to just do that instead. So basically, everywhere you can see this tile where the snow is blowing, that's where the snow or the sand is going to move the next turn. So if you put a wall there, it's going to prevent that from happening and make the wall take damage instead. Oh, there's a box up there. Should send someone up there to get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah.
So some next stage of the game is starting to level up here because it's saying find and collect 4 of these icons which I've never seen before and build a drill, which I'm not going to do because I'm going to stop the game in a minute because I've got to go and get on with some other work. But I really, you know, the pacing of this is great. It just kind of keeps hitting you with stuff, and I think what makes it really interesting is for any sort of management type game to work, and I'm not talking about like super casual management games like incremental tycoon type games, but like a city builder or a survival thing or like a proper business tycoon where you're trying to prevent yourself from going under, whether it's like preventing a business from failing or preventing a community from starving or whatever. What you need are all of these different kind of competing objectives that you can't really hold in balance. And as long as you've got that quality to your game in some form, it should do okay within that sort of genre space, because that's what people are looking to manage in a management game, right? It's not about getting it perfect. It's about trying to get it as close to perfect as you can under conditions which prevent you from doing that. That's the kind of friction, that you need. And the thing that I find really interesting about this game, which is similar to what's in Frostpunk as well, is the different needs that you're trying to maintain. They have different things acting on them. So, like the water, for example, there's not really anything complex about the water. As long as your things are in the right place and people are harvesting them, they're fine. So the water is kind of lower stress, but the food is very difficult to manage because the sand blows over the food points, the grass where you can grow the food, and that kind of becomes a problem. The resources are all kind of fighting because you only have so many workers, but then also you've got like the food is going down, the storm is directional, right? So the way that your town is going to get hit by the storm every turn is getting, randomized 4 different ways. All of those things make it a really kind of crunchy set of problems. And yeah, I need to move on and do some other stuff now, but I really like this, and if you like the look of it, you should go and wishlist it. Because if you don't, you'll forget. You'll go and do something else, and you'll just be like, what was I just doing all day? I don't remember. Get some more settlers. Oh, we got 6 in one go there. That's good. Welcome to our lovely community where nothing bad has ever happened. Come and sit down. Right, you've sat down for a bit. Now go and do some work. They're immediately protesting. Yeah, the workers, I feel like the workers need some sort of like hidden buff so they can't start protesting as soon as they've joined. Because it feels rough, and it also feels like thematically dissonant because they don't know what's wrong immediately as soon as they show up, right? So I protect the player from that happening because that feels a bit wonky and strange. A lovely glade where nothing bad ever happens. Scorpion's here right at the end. Defeat. Yeah, another thing to think about there is, like, I knew I was losing, but that last bit was very sudden. So making sure there is something that's the equivalent of the, the FPS vignette of like, you're on 10% health, we're going to like darken the edge of the screen, and something to kind of, you've got the sound of the people protesting and all of that, but just a little bit more of that kind of turmoil. It's great. Thank you so much for dropping in today. That was Storm Settlers. For some reason my camera doesn't switch properly when I do that. I don't know what's happening. What's going on? I've broken my camera, I think. Yeah, that's Storm Settlers. I will be back on Monday to check out Folk Emerging, a slightly similar but very different game. Thank you to Rocky for giving me a nudge to play this again. I wanted to play it again after the first time I played it. It's probably been a year, I don't know. It's been so long that I don't know what's changed about it, but I'm just glad to see that you are kind of doing things the way that you're doing, taking it slowly, opening up to playtests every so often, making all these little tweaks. I think you know all of the little things in this game that could be improved. There's been loads of helpful feedback in the chat today as well, just from like which things are like visually legible and all of that. I think the mechanics in this are super self-explanatory and really tight, and I like the fact that you're approaching it in this way where the player input is quite minimalist. And that doesn't mean there's not a lot to do. I'm constantly looking around looking for things to do, but the actual range of actions the player can do in the game is very, very limited to building, like directing a unit, and then a couple of buildings have a specialist thing they do, like a tech tree or something, but it's very, very simple. And that really allows the kind of context of the weather and the starvation and stuff to shine. I really think this is very, very well thought out and quite elegant in doing a lot of stuff by having a few things that interlock in interesting ways. So yeah, if you're interested in these types of games, if you're interested in like hardcore colony management types of games, I think the way that Rocky has done this and the direction that this is going in is a very good way to think about it. I mean, it is the Frostpunk thing of like, you know, we're gonna give you a very particular fantasy setting and a very particular type of environmental hazard, and rather than it being like, oh, you can build whatever you want, it's, you know, building castles and farms and stuff, it's like, no, we're going to limit this fantasy to a very specific kind of survival scenario. And I think that really helps scratch an itch for the type of player that would like this, which is like trying to do difficult management under a difficult circumstance, rather than it being like a sandbox, build whatever you want and make it look lovely type game. And those are great too. I'm a big fan of those, but I think it's very difficult to do both things at once. And if you want it to be a much deeper, more strategic thing, then this is kind of the direction to take it in. I think it's like put a lot of the emphasis on what the environmental hazard is and how you have to learn how to deal with it. And I think this game does that really well. So thank you for checking it out with me, and have a great weekend.